Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott. You are in the Prog Corner, and today we're looking at the third album from Seven Impale. We're 5 months into 2023 and I have not given a perfect score. Is today the day that somebody actually gets 5 headphones? Well, let's find out. Seven Impale. Oh, what a band. They're formed in Bergen, Norway in 2010. They put out an EP in 2013, but their first album, oh man, City of the Sun from 2014. I love that thing. It's one of my favorite albums of the year. Oh My Gravity starts it off, and then it's got the epic God Left Us for a Black-Dressed Woman. It's just phenomenal. They put out a second album in 2016, Contra Passo. I didn't like it as much. It's longer. The first album was only 47 minutes long. The second album was like 67 minutes, and it had a whole bunch of a lot of jazz influence on this one. I didn't like it nearly as much, but I've gone back since listening to this new one, and it's actually a really, really good album. So I was wrong about Contrapasso, but we're talking about the new album. And who is Seven Impale, you ask? Well, yeah, you got the brothers Benjamin Mecki Werdero and Frederick Mecki Werdero. Benjamin plays saxophone. He's all over this album. His brother Frederick is the drummer. He even plays a banjo on this thing. You've got Erlend Vatvik Olsen on guitar, Haken Mikkelsen Vinja on keyboards. He's the guy that's been enslaved for the last few years. He's been on their last 3 albums. Stian Oakland on vocals and guitar, and Tormod Faso on bass. So it's a 6-piece band, and all 6 of these guys are phenomenal. Yeah, Seven Impale do ply in a jazz rock kind of territory at times, but they are not jazz rock. They are not fusion. This is a prog rock band that uses metal and jazz and, freeform stuff and psychedelia, just as different flavors to what they're doing. Just amazing. It's glitchy, jazzy rock, kind of like Jaga Jazzist. The rhythmic complexity of a Meshuggah. You've got the dark sonics of King Crimson, the emotive vocals and the crazed saxophone you might find on a Vandergraaf Generator record, and the genre hopping of Motorcycle. All those bands come to mind when I'm listening to Seven Impale. But this album here is just phenomenal. It's 4 tracks, right? And they all are between 9 and 13 minutes. It starts out with Hunter. Oh, this is a great track. Starts out with the plaintive piano playing the middle C, and you soon realize that you're not in C major at all. You're in a minor key. It's A minor pretty much throughout here. And then over that middle C, you have all these little dissonant, patterns being played. And then the band comes in, and it's real angular and syncopated. And then the snare starts hitting the same time that a piano is hitting. It's just really, really cool. You get some beautiful dissonance in this song. It's just awesome. And then it finally settles down in a bluesy A minor riff that kind of makes you think of early King Crimson, maybe Pictures of a City, something like that. And then you got this weird break where you got a million different voices coming at you in a million places. Then you get that bluesy break again. And man, when these guys start going off on this weird syncopated unison stuff, it's just so tight. Maybe they needed 7 years between albums to get this good, because man, oh man, the playing here is incredible. And then after all that craziness subsides, you get a single note again. It's C sharp this time, but the boys are always thinking. They go down a half step to C, puts you right back in where you're supposed to be. And then you get a really cool shift at the 750 mark. And then at the 9-minute mark, you get this crazy driving, galloping end section with all this weird noise in the background, like demon vocals and clacking and clanking. It sounds like, I don't know, maybe sounds like Predator the way he talked in that movie. Kind of makes me think of shell casings hitting a concrete floor. I don't know what it is, but it's such a cool way to end the song. I just love it. Next up is Hydra. This clocks in at 10:35, kind of the same length as Hunter. It starts out with this really cool riff that shifts between 4/4 and 5/4, but they do it so effortlessly and with so much fluidity, you don't even realize what they're doing. And then at the 2-minute mark, you get this chunky guitar, this power chord. It makes you think maybe of Motorcycle again here, maybe like ASFE, a song for everyone off of the Tower. Even the vocals sound really psychedelic here. But then when they go into the chorus, there's these really cool chord changes and this flanged guitar, totally unexpected, really cool. But then you get, while that chunky guitar is playing, you get the 4 notes. The main 4 notes in this song, do 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 do, and they just mutated and do all kinds of things with it. It goes into some rhythmic and melodic augmentation here, just incredible. And then the 4/4 and the 5/4 pattern comes back, but this time with a real powerful guitar behind it. And then those flanged chords come up again. And then those 4 notes, man, the 4 notes that make this whole song kind of show up again at the end and then float off into the ether sphere. It's fantastic. The 3rd song is the shortest song on the album at 9:26, and I'm guessing that's why they decided to drop this as the first single. It's actually my least favorite song on the album. Starts out with this real lo-fi, like garage band thing. Like, you know, back in the day when you had a band and you had a cassette player and you just hit record, and it's in a D minor riff on this thing. The obtuse saxophone comes in. It's just amazing. And then you've got a section in F with some arpeggios and more strange chords while Dude Man's singing about the end of the end. And then you get this really wild instrumental section. I don't know what time signature we're in. I think it's like 23/8. I have no idea. I kept trying to figure it out and I gave up. You get some chanted vocals in here as you get back to the original riff, and then you get some weird decompression noise section, and the sax comes with this obtuse theme. You know it's going somewhere, but you can't quite figure it out. It dies off, and then a lone singular guitar comes up and plays the heaviest riff I've heard all year, man. It is just awesome. The last 2 minutes of this song, just incredible, just pure magic. The vocals come in, and then the sax comes in playing that line. It's one of the greatest moments I've ever heard. The last 2 minutes of that song just kill me. And then the album ends with Sisyphus. This is the mini epic. It's 13:22, so it's a long song. It starts out kind of herky-jerky, like it doesn't know where it's going. Finally settles into a really nice groove in B minor, making me think a little bit of Pink Floyd Animals in this section. And Olsen's talking about Sisyphus climbing, and then you get, boom, this octave rip with the saxophone. Oh my goodness, what's going on here, man? The white noise just blasts you. It's like, what am I even hearing? It is so cool. Between the 1 and 2 minute marks, they do it 4 times. It's so awesome. It really gets you out of your chair. Like, what in the world was that? Even my wife, I was listening to it in the car. She was like, holy smokes, what is that? I've never heard anything like it. It's really cool. And then you start floating again in B minor with the guitar line over the top. Then you get some heavy organ, some Hammond organ that sounds great as we go into like a lounge section, a jazz lounge section, which is not a million miles away from what like Black Midi does on songs like Marlene Dietrich or some of the loungier songs on Hellfire. Just great. And then you get this Deaf Heaven sounding like wall of noise, making me think of Sunbathers. Just really cool. And then you get another angular King Crimson-esque riff that comes in here. And then at 5:35, you get a clean guitar with arpeggios in G. Then you get some syncopated melody behind it. It's just so beautiful, the chaos here. Now I'm thinking about Frank Zappa here, all the syncopated rhythms and the melodies that shouldn't make sense, but totally do. At the 9 minute mark, the drums and the sax are playing this real cool syncopated rhythm, and then you got the piano with the guitar playing this ascending melody, and then the sax joins in. It's just the coolest thing ever when that rhythm guitar starts clicking in here, this final section. It's so awesome in headphones, like every single sonic hole is being filled, and then the song just slows and slowly ebbs, and then it just ends, and it's just so great, man. Sisyphus might be the best song on the album. But I really like Hunter too. Hydra's fantastic. Icarus, that last 2 minutes is amazing. And then Sisyphus is just great. Overall, though, I cannot find any flaws on this album. There are some things perhaps that I would do differently, for example, on Icarus, but because of the payoff is so incredibly perfect that I am not going to deduct any points for Icarus. So my score for Summit from 7 Impale. Yes, my friends, it is in fact my first 5 out of 5 review of the year. This is out on Karisma Records. It dropped last week. I think the vinyl comes out next month, so hang on if you're a vinyl junkie like me. Hey, next up, we're going to be talking about another great record from Karisma. It's the new solo album from Lars Fredrik Frosley, the keyboard player from Wobbler, and I'm super stoked to talk about that one. Anyway, I am Scott. I hope you take some time and check out 7 Impale. I'll put links in the description to the tracks so you can listen to them. Just awesome, man. 5 out of 5. It's absolutely perfect. I love it. My favorite album of the year so far. Yeah, we're in the 5th month of the year. It was about time we had a perfect album score here. Anyway, I love you fools. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace in the Middle East, and God save the king. The king of Sweden, maybe. I don't know. Not the king of England. Anyway, see you fools later.